Right, I'm going to let you take some notes with me on inequalities. Inequalities. Now, when you were a whole lot younger in elementary school, you did inequalities like this. Which number is bigger, 2 or 4? And then you would obviously say it's 4. How do we show this? You make an inequality sign, where the open side of the sign always points to the greater side and the closed side points to the smaller side. Is it possible that we can switch these two? Of course it is. Now I'm going to just turn my sign, because this side is still greater and this side is still smaller. Now that you are in the 7th grade, you're going to come across things that look like this. X is less than -1. What does it mean? It means any number that is less than -1 could be x. So x could be -2, it could be -3, it could be -3.5, okay? And then there's a way to show this on a number line. So on a number line, if I can find -1, and on this side would be 0, and on this side would be -2, I can show people that x is less than -1, like this. I put an open circle above -1, and since it is less than -1, I go to the left. Now what happens if I do this? If I do this, -1, watch this. Kids are going to look at me and say, it's the same thing. And I'm going to say, no, it's not. Look carefully. What side is pointing to x now? The greater than sign. And which side was pointing to x there? The less than sign. So what can I say about x? X is greater than -1. And how do we show that? The same way. I find -1 on a number line. I put a circle above it, but instead of going to the left, which is less, I'm going to the right, which is more, greater than, okay? There's some more that I can show you. What about if x looks like this? There's a line underneath the inequality. It simply means this. If I have -1 and I have -2 and I have 0, I still put a circle above -1, but this time -1 is included in the answer, so I color in my dot. X is still less than, so I go to the left. So what will this be like? 1, look at this. We're going to read it from the side of the variable. So x now includes -1, but x is also, look at this, greater than -1. So I still put down -1, -2, and a 0. I still make a circle. I still color it in because it's included, but this time x is greater, so it's going to the right. It's going to the right. Okay. So what do we do if we have more than just an answer for x? What if it comes with a problem that looks like this? It goes like this. -half x plus 6 is less than or equal to, let's make it 1/4. 1/4. Okay. The thing that makes it difficult, number one, are the fractions. So we're going to have to work with those off to the side. But the thing that makes it easy is that this inequality, I'm going to treat like it's an equation. All the steps that I used for an equation, I'm going to use for the inequality. So I'm going to go, okay? Step number 1, I close up the side. What's bothering x? -1/2 and +6. Which one stands further away? +6. So that goes away first by going minus 6. Minus 6, and if I do it on the left side, I do it on the right side. And let's see what's happened. This is a 0, negative half an x stays over there, and a quarter minus 6 literally means this. A quarter minus 6 over 1, okay, get a common denominator, so that stays 1. This side becomes 4, so that's 24, and that is 1 minus 24 is negative 23 over 4. Turn it, I can just leave it like that. I don't even need to turn it back yet because I'm not done with it yet, right? When you look over here at the negative half, just leave that the way it is because you're not done yet with the fractions. I copy my sign, and I've got negative 23 over 4. Now I'm going to get rid of this fraction that is stuck to x. So to get rid of a fraction that is stuck to x, I multiply with the reciprocal. And if this number is negative, then my reciprocal will also be negative so that we get rid of the negatives, okay? And if I multiply here with negative 2 over 1, I multiply there with negative 2 over 1. What is this going to be? It's going to be negative 2 over negative 2, which is a positive 1, and positive 1x is x. Here I've got negative 23 times negative 2. First the signs, it's going to be positive. 23 times 2, 46, 4 times 4. Now, before I write the sign down, you need to know this. Since I multiplied with a negative, this inequality flips. So it goes like this. Right, okay. So what is 46 over 4? So x is greater or equal to 4 goes into 46 11 times, which is 44. And there's 2/4 left. And if I reduce that, it is 11 1/2. Now, let's draw this on a number line. I've got 10, 11, 12. X is greater or equal to 11 1/2. Here is 11 1/2 between 11 and 12. I put a circle, but because it is included, I color the circle. And because x is greater than, I go to the right. The only other thing that they can do to catch you is to do this. Which one of the following includes solutions for this question? Is it 11, 11 1/2, 12? Is it 11 1/2, 12, 13 2/3? Okay, so now you check. Is 11 greater than 11 1/2? No. So is it A? No. And if it's not A, it should be B. Let's just double check. Is 11 1/2 greater or equal to 11 1/2? Yes, it's equal. What about 12? Yes, it's greater. What about 13 2/3? Yes, it's greater. And that, in a nutshell, guys, is your inequalities. This is not the first time we see it. This is review, okay? Questions you have in class. Thank you.